Okay, we're trying something new today, so I'm glad you sort of stuck with it. We're a little bit late, but I wanted to um, try doing this live both on Instagram and Facebook. So we'll see how this goes. So, hi, I'm Melissa. I am the owner and principal interior designer at Timeless Designs. I am a red shoeing only red shoe wearing interior designer because there is no place like your home. Um, we really strive to work with builders and busy professionals to create a turnkey, totally unique, customized home for our clients. We facilitate, we put together the design, we do all of the work, so you don't have to. Okay, so today we're talking about lighting. I love lighting. We talked about this before, but we're talking about specifically in bathrooms. So we're going to talk about location, we're going to talk about style, and we're going to talk about size and scale. All are very, very important. All are things that you should be talking to your builder, your designer, and your electrician about. So the first thing is location. We're going to talk about vanity, location, shower, and then some other things. So for your vanity, you want to have lighting. Now, it really is going to depend on what your bathroom vanity is used for. So we talked a little bit about just general lighting before, the different types of lighting. So let's assume this is a primary bathroom. In a primary bathroom, you're going to be getting ready for work, more than likely. And so one trick is if you work in fluorescent lights and you put your makeup on in non-fluorescent lights, you're gonna look a little bit different in the lighting. So it would be key to use the lighting that you are in if possible, because that's going to give you, as you're doing things, the correct light in which you will be viewed where you spend most of your time. The other thing is, if this is a primary location where you're doing your makeup, think of Broadway. Okay, now I know this is kind of silly, but when performers are getting ready and they're putting their makeup on, there are all of those little light bulbs all the way around the mirror. And why is that? Because you get full light everywhere on your face. And so that is the best lighting. Best lighting if you are needing fantastic lighting for your vanity. Now, I know it's not beautiful, it's not bedazzly, it's not, you know, very artful, but that's going to give you the best lighting for putting on your makeup, ladies. The other thing is, there are a couple of different locations that this lighting can go. Now, getting away from Broadway, and we're going to talk more about aesthetically speaking lighting for your vanity area. Sticking with, this could be both a powder room and it could be a primary or a kid's bathroom. So this is all sort of universal. So you can put them on the wall, as is very, very traditional. And recently, a lot of vanity lights have been going well, on either side of the mirror, but then they can also be hanging on either side of the mirror, but from the ceiling. And then you can also have a backlit mirror so that you have more of a soft lighting. Okay, so that is different lighting locations for a vanity. Now, some other things to consider and talk to your builder, electrician, designer about is just general ambient lighting. Now, we talked about this in our previous lighting session. So in your bathroom, you want to be able to see what's going on. But now if you get up in the middle of the night and you need also a light source, you're going to want to consider a softer low light for in the middle of the night. You don't want to be wide awake after you get up at 2 or 4 in the morning or whatever it might be. So you want to have general ambient lighting for in the rest of the area of the bathroom so you can see. So you can clean, you can, you know, move about and not run into things. That is ambient lighting. But then that is always one of our design necessities because it makes a huge difference when it comes to that space, whether you have a door or you have a shower curtain, or if you have an opaque door where it doesn't let all of the light through. Sorry about that. I always turn off notifications and I forgot today. So you want to have sort of task lighting, as would you over the toilet as well, so that you have those specific areas covered. Now you can also have the really cool like accent lighting that we also talked about, which would be toe kick lighting or, you know, some other dramatic lighting in your space. All of those things are super fun. Layering lighting. That is my trade secret. Layer your lighting. That will give you the best lighting possible. Okay, now we're going to talk about topic number 2, and that is style. This is a place where you can really let loose, let your hair down, and put some really cool light fixtures in. Now, whether they're hanging from the ceiling or it is a wall mounted above your mirror, find something that's really, really cool. You know, that's going to be kind of a statement piece, whether it's really unique, really large, or a lot of little pieces that create a larger form. But this is a really great spot to add some really wow factor for your space. Glam it up a bit. You know, if you like sparkly, put some bedazzly in. If you like really simple, maybe going slightly larger would be something that would be beneficial and give you that wow for your space. Which leads into our topic number 3, size and scale. Okay, so there are going to be some factors here that you need to consider with your builder, designer, architect, electrician. Your ceiling height, your vanity length, and the volume overall of your space. So let's say you have 9-foot ceilings, but you have like this little tiny powder room. You don't want a huge, massive light fixture. Probably. I mean, really, like I had said last week, we are literally reinventing the wheel with every single project. We don't do cookie cutter, it's all custom. Everyone gets their own thing. And so perhaps if you have 9-foot ceilings but a little tiny powder room, maybe a particular light fixture that is oversized would work really well. Maybe it's a glass, CD glass globe so that it's more see-through, but it's a larger piece. So these are all just generalities. But again, it's all specific to each client, each location, each project. And so your vanity length, so again, if you have a smaller vanity, you don't necessarily want to have a giant light fixture. Maybe you want to have 1 or 2 smaller or medium fixtures, and maybe it's the same length and it's like ceiling hung, but it's really, you know, sort of frames out the mirror. So these are all, you know, like I said, it just always depends. Ask your professional. And then volume of space. So if you have a very large, expansive, luxurious spa-like bathroom, you're gonna have several more light fixtures, and you're gonna have a little more flexibility with the size and scale of those fixtures. So those are the things that you need to talk to your builder, designer, electrician, architect about when you're either planning in your very early stages, because these are all things that you need to know ahead of time. Obviously, if you have ceiling mounted on the side of your vanity, those boxes have to be in that location, and then the wiring has to be run. It's not just magically there. So as for any project, new construction or remodel, the biggest thing is planning ahead. As much planning as possible is super beneficial, keeping everybody on the same page for lighting and various other topics. So today, we covered lighting for your bathroom, whether it's a powder room, a primary bathroom, a Jack and Jill bathroom, a kid's bathroom, a guest bathroom, all of those spaces. Location for different lighting types. We talked about different styles and really jazzing it up with a really cool fixture. Go all out here because that is really where you're gonna, especially like in a main powder bathroom or a guest bathroom, something that's really gonna wow their socks off. And especially in your primary, if you're using it every day, you want something that really speaks to you and is really, really, just lights you up. Literally, right? Okay, and then we talked about size and scale, about, coordinating sort of your quantity of fixture, your size of fixture to your ceiling height and the volume of your space. So next week, we are going to be talking about flooring for bathrooms. So we have a couple of different options we can talk about. If you have a project that's coming up or know someone who does, share these videos to help keep great design going about the world. And if you are interested, or friends or family, you can inquire about your projects or project coming up. We love design and all things design. And so that is everything for today. We will see you next week with another bathroom topic. Have a great week.